Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Mr. Optimistic going over Mondays and Tuesdays workout. Today we have snatch push press plus overhead squat. We're looking at a 4x2 with 2 push presses and 1 overhead squat, and we're working up to a 90% of our 2x1 from last week. For these ones I always work in a good old power clean, because that's definitely something that I need to work on to get a little more stronger to catch up with my full clean. So what we're looking at here, the 90% is at 85 kilos. This is obviously it's working and progressing how I want to. You can kind of see my left arm lag a little bit on the lockout. That's something that, I'm glad these are incorporated into the workouts pretty much every week, it looks like, because that's my injury comes from my left wrist, and that's something that has been slowly improving and something that definitely catches up to me during any max outs, really. So you kind of see it right there. If you can look at this one, there you go. Not too bad. Still trying to fight from going forward, because that's something that always tends to happen during a max out. So again, glad these are incorporated. It's working my overhead stability, which is an opportunity since because of that injury. With the push presses, we do have the power snatches coming up next. We're looking for a 2 rep max and then a 2x2 at 9% of that 2 rep max. But I'm finishing grinding these out a little bit. I keep talking about my accessory work that I do at Choose Fitness, so that's something that I'm starting to see obviously the benefits of. Working on those presses, working on my back lat strength, just trying to keep that stabilized as best as I can, so that I can carry over to those max days. Again, power snatches. Who loves them? Who hates them? But we all need them. So working on the timing and, looking back at these, the snatches as it gets heavier get away from me. And the timing, you can see right there is, I landed that catch. So that's my friend Hector. He's one of the masters. He's about a year and a half in. Dude's great. Love that guy. We all train as a team, so you'll see him in some of these videos as I post. But again, trying to stay consistent on the way up is better. Working. And we're trying to push for the max. And again, I kind of stopped that leg drive, so give a good attempt at 85 kilos, which would have been bodyweight PR, but decided to call it at that point, because I wanted to make sure, I finish and go over the technique a little bit better. So let's see. So this is this is 75 kilos, so definitely a good weight to work at and try to dial in that technique. Again, as I look over, kind of feeling tight, trying to, make things a little bit looser, because I can see, or I can feel, the timing's off and the bar is getting away from me. And again, that's just kind of making sure and refocusing on tying the lats, and the timing on the catches is off, as you can tell. That was better. There you go. While doing the power snatches, obviously the main goal is to keep the lats engaged throughout the whole lift, just like the full snatch. If the lats get soft or the bar travels away from you from either a weak core or again a weak upper back, you will miss the lift, and you're going to have to try to throw your shoulders back to catch it in your midline in order to save the lift. So obviously that's inefficient, and again, gonna keep reiterating that the importance of back strength and keeping those lats tight is to not go forward like that last catch. So these have been super helpful the -4 count or the 4 Mississippis that I try to do in my head help a lot in terms of engaging the lats, because you have to engage the lats as the bar slowly goes down to the floor. So kills the hands, kills the grip, but that's why we got chalk and tape, right? So essentially we do about 4 sets of these. Typically we do triples. For this one, I check my notes right here. Yeah, so we have a 4x3 at about 88% of my best snatch. That's what we're working with. Kind of get a little fatigued on the upper back, as you can see, during that descent, pretty much above mid-knee. The upper back gets a little soft, so I'm just trying to drive that chest up as much as I can so I can kind of save that. We don't do squats that day because we do have heavy squats after day 2. So if you are having trouble keeping the bar closer to you, or if you have trouble, a lot of people do have trouble jumping forward when they snatch. You see that in almost any person, I would say, trying to learn the lifts. Usually, that's due to a soft back or the shoulders getting behind the bar too quick. And once you get that full extension, which for me, I was taught to finish vertical, so the bar can catch in your midline. That to me works the most efficient for my body type. So these are good to practice that bar path, making sure everything's engaged right at the same time in order to keep that bar close to the body. Another good cue to make sure you're doing it correctly is that you are not on the way up like that, scratching the skin off your shins and giving yourself a close shave. So, again, to finish up this day right here, big takeaway is engage your lats, drive those elbows up high on the pull, and just keep the bar as close as you can. This is for Tuesday, obviously. We're working for no feet snatches, obviously 4x2, 80% of the best snatch. And for me, typically, I definitely try to go off of my last comp PR, which makes sense, right? If I feel really good, I would add about maybe 5 kilos to my max and work off of those percentages. That's helped me push a little more on my days that I feel really good. And I kind of play around with that and make sure my technique and the body's moving very well before I even tinker with the max weight. So these have been feeling a whole lot better. Obviously, this is about 2.5 weeks into the cycle, and this is helping me finish the leg drive, right? So you can kind of see there, boom, easy catch, easy up, boom, nailed it. Not bad, definitely not bad. When I do miss them though, is when obviously my shoulders go behind the bar, and then you'll always see me missing in the front. Usually, again, that's probably because of fatigue, and boop, there you go. Yeah, saw that coming, right? So again, that's when I have to kind of exaggerate the leg drive, pull up, boom, easy. So these are good to incorporate if you are having issues finishing your extension on just a regular snatch. I would recommend just do this with about maybe 60 kilos. You can do it as a warm-up, just to kind of get that bar path more ingrained. Ooh, barely saved that one right there. But because if you're unable to move your feet, you're forced to push longer and pull yourself actively under the bar, which will finish, you will finish in that upright position, or you'll miss it, and then you can kind of look, or have maybe your coach or friend look at you and see if that was a good bar path for you. So with this last one right here, it was one of my last reps or sets, and it was just a really slow turnover, just like that one. So I was gonna take it again, but since I had squats and everything like that, I decided not to kind of up the misses and, kind of not ingrain a bad technique, but take time out of my day, when I do put these videos together and do the voiceover, kind of remember, those sets, and I can look over and basically go over it and say, hey, this is why I missed it. So you, the viewer at home, right, can see my mistakes and hopefully learn from that. And again, you can always comment or send me a video or anything like that. Be like, hey, look, hey, can you check this out? Does this make sense, or what did I do wrong? Always willing to help for free and everything like that, just to kind of give a different set of eyes. Because throughout my 10 years of lifting, it's always been helpful, even from people who are new, to say, hey, did you see something out of place, and kind of get their opinion on it, and maybe they see something that you didn't, or see it from a different perspective, or even explain it incorrectly, but at the same time you're like, oh, that's what they were trying to say, and just kind of make sense out of it. Because in my opinion, there's always a different way to look at something. It may not be correct in your perspective, but a different perspective, either correct or incorrect, makes you think different, and it really challenges you in terms of kind of using your critical thinking skills and making sure that you actually know what you're doing. Because sometimes we get a little lost and caught up sometimes. But these, let me see what the jerks have in store for me today. I'm doing 4x2 at 90%, 2 rep max, which I did at about 115. So this is 110 kilos, 242 pounds. So these were challenging working sets for me, because my jerks prior to this, obviously, because these actually look really good, were just a little shaky, a little uncoordinated to my liking. As you can see, my right wrist my right elbow wasn't consistently locked out. I thought I did 100 and, what do I think I did? I think I did 135 kilos or something like that, which comes out to be 297 pounds, but I actually did 303 pounds. So for me, this was pretty heavy. I went from my jerks immediately to the squats. Save time, plus I'm a little lazy at times when I'm almost done with the workout, so I kind of just challenge myself and jump into it, because body's warm. First reps kind of, get the body to understand, like, oh, we're doing heavy squats, so let's get prepared to do heavy squats. So this was 2x4 at 90% of my 4 rep max. Looks like I was actually supposed to max out to do a 4 rep max and then do 2 sets, 2x4 at 90%. So next time we will max out and kind of do that correctly, right? This one, just to end it on, did some front squats just to finish, because I missed that last week because I had to go to work a little early. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Just make sure to like the video, comment below if you have any questions or any feedback on anything. Again, just let me know if you have any questions about the lift. I'll be happy to give my perspective on things. Again, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and have a good day. See ya.